Hello, Bison fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Charging Ahead podcast, where I'm delighted to be joined by British forward Zack Milton. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Good, good. How's your summer going? Are you sort of having a nice break from hockey, or?
Yeah, it's been good so far. Yeah, just chilling. It's the same as every time you take a couple of weeks off, and then you miss it for a little bit, and then you want to get back at it.
Yeah, of course. Well, we like to ask the players this. I've asked every player this so far. Sort of, how did the move come about to obviously return back to Basingstoke?
I actually had a call right when the season finished about it was like a call. It was like, oh, Basingstoke might be coming back. Like, would you be interested in going back? And I was actually still in Manchester at the time. I was at the courts playing basketball with some of the guys, and I was like, yeah, 100%. Like, would definitely interest me if they came back. I loved playing in Basingstoke last time around, and it's definitely a spot that I would love to play again. So that's pretty much how it came about.
I mean, we're very happy to have you back in Basingstoke. Obviously, you've been a top Brit in this league. You've obviously lit up the league when you played for Basingstoke as well. But you sort of spoke about the elite league. Then you've spent obviously the first year in the elite league. You're on your two-way with obviously the Raiders and Basingstoke as well. Obviously in Guildford, and then you've just recently had your full year in Manchester. Sort of, what have you learned from those 2 years playing in the elite league?
I've learned a lot, even with Guildford, where I wasn't so much playing with the team at the weekends. I was obviously on the two-way, so I was playing with the National League team on the weekends. But even just skating at their level and just like the skating every single day of the week, pretty much, it develops your game so much. And that's also something that's like missing a lot in British hockey is the ice time that you get and training with those guys, how hard they work and how much they try and perfect their craft. Like it's grown me a lot along loads.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we love any national player that sort of goes up into the elite league. Sort of what, obviously, we know the elite league is a structured league. Obviously, the coaches they go to a coaching style that's sort of very sort of based on instat and stuff like that. Obviously, we've got the announcement of Jeff coming in. How
Hmm.
can that sort of help players? Obviously, you've seen the players in the elite league. How can that help players in the national league?
I think bringing Jeff in is massive for us. Like, and that's not taken away from British coaches. Like, British coaches are great as well. But also, this guy has been coaching in North America for a long time, and it's kind of just the way they look at even just practices. Like, everything is 100% intensity. Everything is done correctly. Where sometimes here, and again, like the structure in the elite league is a lot higher, the skill level is a lot higher, the speed's a lot higher. That doesn't take anything away from the British talent and the British skill, but just the way their mindset is towards practice and towards games, and that's something I definitely think from the where Jeff's come from obviously being assistant coach in youth sports teams. That's definitely something that I think he's probably going to bring over.
Yeah, 100%. So you're a young Brit in the elite league. It can be tough sometimes. You can have obviously moments in the elite league where sometimes things can't go your way. Who sort of would you say has been the person, obviously either on the ice or maybe someone off the ice, has sort of been the biggest impact on yourself?
Uh, it works around a lot really. Like a lot of the Brits kind of understand. Like you think guys like Owen Griffiths, who's played in Guildford, he played in the Elite League for a long time, so he's just signed in Swindon now. But I played in the Elite League for a long time, and he was in the similar situation that I was, where he started off at the bottom and had to like keep building his way up, and he built his way up to play. I think it was 5 years in Guildford, and then took the move to Manchester with me. But just guys like him, like you ask him questions, he's always coming over to me in practice and like helping me work on stuff. So guys like that who have obviously been in the same situation before help a lot.
Yeah. And you say it's obviously a lot of hard work, a lot of hard graft in the elite league. How did it feel to finally get that first goal under your belt in the elite league?
I mean, it was late. It was good. It was late into the season, but better late than never, I guess. Yeah, it was good. I mean, every time I was going, like I felt like I was coming, like I came close so many times, and everyone in the room was like, "You are so close. You're getting to like the right areas," and then never happened, and then finally it came, and it was a good feeling, I guess. Yeah.
So when you've been in Basingstoke, you've obviously we've seen you been paired up with most of the imports. Obviously, we've seen you paired up with obviously Alex Roberts that the fans will know. You obviously most recently Gail Labuele as well. Sort of, what do you think as a player it is that makes these coaches feel like you're the best fit for these imports?
Uh, not to big myself up or anything, but I think I can read the game. I think I can read the game pretty well, and obviously being with Gail, being with Alex, like they're both shooters, so like being able to read the game, being able to like control the play and hold the puck a lot longer than maybe other people can allows them to get into positions and me able to find them in positions for them to score goals. Especially with like Alex and Gale, they were definitely guys that like they other teams were marking because like they're the shooters on the line, right? So if I can hold that puck for an extra second and draw people into me, which lets them get open up a bit. I think that's kind of where I had success with those kind of players is just because they were shooters. Even when I was in Romford and I played with guys like Jake Sylvester, who's got an incredible shot. Like it kind of worked the same way, where like I could kind of hold the puck a little longer, draw guys in, and then they can then find open space. And I think that's what kind of works for me as a player is like playing with someone else who's going to put the puck in the net, and I can find them.
So I'm sure you're very excited to sort of see the league going with the four imports. Obviously, the skill level is going up once again. How excited are you, obviously, to be playing alongside obviously four imports in the team, and obviously going up against these obviously imports in D, import goalies, etc. How does that excite you going into the season?
I mean, it excites me a lot. Like obviously, I kept track of the National League last year as well. Like obviously, a lot of my friends are playing it in the National League, and it's exciting even when it goes up to three imports. Like it was an exciting game to watch and to see the title chases or the playoff chases and kind of thing. So even jumping up to four imports, like the level is, I know it's only one player, but the level is going to skyrocket, and that's kind of the way it's going with the National League. Like it kind of feels like the Brits are getting better and better each year, and then they're adding imports in as well. Like I think the National League's becoming a really good league.
So having a year away from the National League, do you feel like the transition going back into the National League is going to be like tough, or do you think it's going to be sort of the same? How do you sort of feel your transition is going to go back into the National League?
Uh, I mean that's a tough question to answer, and I've actually honestly thought about it a lot. Obviously, being in the elite league as like I was more of like a fourth liner, so I was a guy that was
Hmm.
chipping the puck in, finishing my hit, and battling to get to the net. Whereas I was in the national league, slightly more of a skill player. But I don't want to lose that kind of grinding role either. Like I want to play like that in the national league as well. So that's something that like I have to like personally like make sure I'm maintaining that I'm playing that physical style where I'm getting the puck in deep and I'm playing hockey the right way and not trying to cheap plays and look for opportunities like that I play the right way and like just that kind of thing. Like I want to be able to chip the puck in deep. I want to be coming low and supporting the D men instead of maybe before like when I was at Basingstoke last time, maybe I cheated the play a little bit and was just looking towards offense instead of like helping out defensively.
Yeah, so you're sort of looking at the signings so far. Obviously, the Brits that have come in, no discredit to them, but looking at yourself, obviously, you're coming on off the back of a year in the Elite League. There's going to be a bit of pressure on you. Obviously, you're the Brit guy that sort of everyone's going to be looking at. How do you feel, sort of, with the pressure? Do you feel good with having pressure on you, or do you sort of feel like pressure gets you a little bit? Obviously, it's totally different for every player.
I'm excited for it really. Like I know my ability and how I can play in the National League. Obviously, having the year in the Elite League, like I feel like I have developed a lot and I am going to come in a better player. Um, in terms of like being the top Brit on the team, like I don't know. We have a lot of good Brits who will bring different kind of styles, and every kind of style is important, really. Like bringing in a guy like Will Stead, like the guy does a bit of everything. Like if you watch him play, like he's kind of like that gritty, grindy player, but then you look at his points over the last couple of years, and he's contributing a ton, kind of thing. So there's guys that can bring a bit of everything, and that's what makes a good hockey team.
Yeah, so as much as obviously it's always nice playing on a team in the Elite League, it's full of obviously imports, a lot of high skilled guys. Are you excited to be coming back into obviously a National League where you're playing alongside some of the guys that you've grown up with? Obviously, some of the guys that you played with back in Basingstoke, you're excited to be playing alongside them again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like obviously, like I've played with pretty much everyone that's on the team before, whether it was at Bees or in Basingstoke. So, And realistically, the whole year I've been like keeping in contact with them all anyway. So like a lot of them are good friends of mine. Like I've been to a couple of their weddings and stuff. So like we're all good friends already, and that's kind of what enticed me to come back to Basingstoke is kind of the friendships I made there last time. And I think that's what brought a lot of people back is like the friendships that we had in Basingstoke last time. We kind of want that again. The change room was great. Like everyone loved going to the rink, and I think that's kind of what brought people back to Basingstoke, and the excitement around Basingstoke coming back is kind of what we had last time, and we want that again.
Yeah, so do you sort of feel there was maybe a bit of unfinished business in that with that group? Obviously, Basingstoke, it was a tough time in that sort of era that you're in Basingstoke. Obviously, it's going into a fresh era, hopefully a fresh new rink. Is there sort of unfinished business you feel around the boys in the locker room?
I mean, I wouldn't say so much unfinished business. Everyone kind of knew the situation we were in last time we were there. Obviously, the kind of bit of a bombshell that the team wasn't going to be around anymore. Kind of, I guess you could say unfinished business there. But I think a new era at Basingstoke is exciting for all of us, really. Like it's coming in, and it is, although it's a lot of the same guys coming back for the reason because of how it was last time. I think everyone's excited for this new era of the Bison, and we're all excited to kind of come back. And obviously, we wasn't too successful last time. We was in at Basingstoke. It was always kind of like instead of pushing for titles and stuff like that, it was always kind of like make playoffs. And speaking to a lot of the guys, like that's not really what we want anymore. We don't want to turn up and just make playoffs. And like when we come against the big teams like Leeds, MK, it's kind of like, oh well, like let's just keep it close. Like that's gone. Everyone's dialed in and wanting to win trophies. And how often you don't really win trophies often, really, if you think about it. Like unless you're Leeds, I guess. But like trophies don't come around often. So like when you have a good group and like you want to push for those things, and that's kind of the mentality that I think a lot of us have right now.
So, sort of coming to the end of this interview, obviously the fans, they love watching you play. Personally, I like watching your game. I love watching you play as well. But sort of, have you got any messages to young Bison fans that probably listen to this that sort of are going into hockey and they sort of want to have the same journey as you've sort of had? Obviously, you made it into the elite league at a young age. You've done well in the national league. What sort of message would you give out to them sort of fans?
I mean, well, it depends how young. Like I was coaching on a camp a couple of weeks ago, and I was getting asked by parents like, "Oh, like these kids are 11, 12 years old. Oh, how can they improve? What do they need to do?" But when you're young, just enjoy playing hockey. Like just enjoy it. It's not until you get to like 15, 16, that's when you can start looking at paths of to like how to develop. When you're like to fans that want to start hockey and like play hockey and get into hockey, just enjoy playing, like enjoy going to the rink for your team's practices and just stuff like that. When you get a bit older, then you can start looking into details of how to improve and the fine details of how you become a better hockey player. But when you're younger, my advice to kids is always just enjoy playing, just enjoy going to the rink and practicing and being with your friends, kind of thing. Like that's kind of how any sport is really. Like you enjoy playing it, and then it becomes you want to get better, you want to do this, and then you want to progress further. That's kind of how I see it anyway.
Yeah, so you seem like a bit of a laid back player. Sort of does that help you in those big moments? Obviously, hopefully Bison coming into obviously maybe a few years' time will be in those big moments of obviously having those cup games, maybe those playoff games. Does that sort of help you as a player being a sort of a laid back guy?
I don't know. You tell some of the guys, ask some of the guys from laid back. Some in the when it comes to hockey, I'm not so laid back. Like you ask Callum, we've had a couple shouting matches in the changing room, like after practice, where we're just playing silly games, and I get too into it. Um, no, I think like I am a very much like a laid back, chill guy. When it comes to hockey, I do get a little bit more intense. Like it is something that like I do get passionate about, and when stuff happens on the ice, like I do get passionate about things. So I think that helps in certain situations, which I'm hoping for this year.
Yeah, I mean, passion is always good. You have a lot of passion in this Bison fan base as well. So, sort of finishing off this interview, what message have you got to the Bison fans that are coming in to watch Bison this season in September?
Well, I mean, last time I was there, the Bison fans were incredible. They always came out. They were always loud. I remember playing against our in our last game against Leeds. Like the Leeds players in the handshake were like, "Oh my God, like this place is electric." So more of that really. Like the fans are so passionate, and that's what we love playing for. Like we love that as players coming out to that electric barn. So bring more of that.
Well, there you go, Bison fans. If you come down to the rink if you can in September, get season tickets as soon as they're coming out, get some match night tickets. Obviously, keep an eye on all the social media pages. We'll have a lot of stuff coming your way, and we'll see you in September.